Welcome to BIK21030, Morphology and Syntax News, where it aims to make comparisons of morphology and syntax usage across the three materials, which is academic text, professional text, and lastly, news articles. Every text material has its own structure, in which the material will follow accordingly, where the format distinguishes it from the others. For instance, the focus, the intended audience, and platform postage. However, there are aspects that the reader tend to bat their eyes off, which are the tone, grammar usage, and sentence structure. Many do not realize its significance, despite playing a major role in conveying the message efficiently and clearly to its intended audience. This is where the analysis comes in. Comparing, analyzing, reflecting are done in a morphological and syntactic perspective. Derivational, inflectional, compound are listed for the morphological analysis, while for the syntax, it focuses on the clauses type, complement, and verb phrase. Both of them function as the starting material on how morphology and syntax plays a role in each text function and form. Therefore, let's go through the source section.
Our academic article titled Factors that Influence Mental Illness Among Students in Public Universities was published in 2020 in the Journal of Business and Economic Analysis by Natira Kandasamy and College. It examines how financial problems, health conditions, and social relationships affect mental illness amongst university students using quantitative methods. The study finds that all three factors are positively related to mental illness. The article is written for researchers and university support staff. It also shows common features of academic writing such as formal vocabulary, varied sentence structure, and factual language. Our review of the verb shows that the article uses different tenses, voices, and agreement patterns which should be analyzed further.
Our professional text documented by McDonald Corporation, 2020, this report focused on McDonald Corporation issues regarding April and May 2020, comparable sales and information on an update on COVID-19 impact to the business operations. We assessed this report on 25 November 2025 and derived it from the official McDonald's website. We selected the Accelerate Recovery Through Investments in our system section because it contains various verb forms that allow us to understand how tenses, aspects, and voice are applied and utilized in the real professional writing.
The academic text shows a strong use of the present tense, which makes up 71.42% of all verb forms, while the past tense appears in 28.58%. Pattern supports the article's aim to present research findings as current and generally valid in the academic field. For example, the authors use the simple present in sentences such as findings shows that financial distress leads to mental illness to present the result as established facts. The past tense is mainly used to refer to complete actions and earlier studies, such as the 2004 research by Andrews and Whiting in order to clearly separate previous work from the author's own findings. The simple aspect is the most frequently used grammatical form, appearing in 56.36%. The verb phrases. Other aspects, including the progressive, perfect, and infinitive, are used very rarely, each accounting for 4.54%. This heavy use of the simple aspect reflects the main purpose of the text, which is to report objective information and accepted research outcomes. In academic writing, the simple aspect is the commonly used to describe results that are not limited to a specific time period. The text mainly uses the active voice, which appears in 90.91%, while the passive voice is used in only 9.09%. Frequent use of active structure improves clarity and directness by clearly showing who performs the action, such as in findings show or the students agree. The passive voice is used selectively when the focus needs to be on the action or the result rather than the door. For example, financial stresses were connected, which helps to maintain an objective academic too. Finally, the article demonstrates full accuracy in subject-verb agreement with all 22 identified verb phrases correctly matched. Singular subjects are consistently followed by singular verbs, while plural subjects take plural verbs. This grammatical accuracy is important for maintaining clarity and professionalism in academic writing. The result, readers can focus on the ideas and findings without being distracted by language errors.
When we look at the use of tenses in this academic text, we can see a clear pattern. The authors mostly use the present tense to talk about their main findings. For example, when they say financial distress leads to mental illness, they are showing that this idea is true in general, not only in the past. This makes the results sound more reliable and relevant today. At the same time, the past tense is used to talk about the earlier studies. This includes research by Andrews and Whiting. Using the past tense helps the writers separate previous research from their own findings. This is important because it makes the text clear and easy for readers to understand. In terms of aspect, the text mainly use the simple aspect, especially the simple present tense. This is very common in academic writing because it is used to explain facts and general results. For example, when the authors say the findings show a relationship, they mean that the result is stable and meaningful, not temporary. Other aspects such as the progressive, perfect, and infinitive are used very little. This is because the writers want to focus on clear results, not on actions that are ongoing or unfinished. When we look at subject-verb agreement, we can see that the writing is very accurate. Singular subjects are always followed by singular verbs and plural subjects are followed by plural verbs. This accuracy is important in academic writing. According to Bauer in 1983, correct sentence structure is a key feature of good academic work. When grammar is clear and correct, readers can trust the text more and focus on the ideas and data instead of language mistakes. Lastly, the text mainly use the active voice. This help makes the writing clear and direct. For example, phrases like the findings show clearly explain who is doing the action. This makes the information easier to follow. However, the passive voice is also used in some parts, such as financial stresses were connected. This helps keep the focus on the result rather than the researchers. As Redford in 2009 explains, using both active and passive voice in the right way helps academic writing sound more professional and objective.
The present tense is generally used in the professional text, around 87.5%. This illustrates that the company corporations commonly make general statements regarding carried out events on the company. According to Martin Parrott, present tense refers to tense forms that are used to describe actions which are permanent or habitual in general statement. The present tense is frequently used in professional texts to convince the stakeholders and investors. On the other hand, the future tense is the lowest tense used in the text that is employed for indicating planned future commitments of the company. Objectively, despite only being used once in the text, around 12.5% from the analyzed sample. Next, based on the table and figure, the frequently used aspect is progressive aspect, with almost 50% of the analyzed synthesis data that has been overviewed. This followed by perfect aspect with 33.3%, higher than the simple aspect which is around 60.7%. The text commonly use progressive aspect because it highlights actions as ongoing or developing, which helps the stakeholders and investors to follow the process of the company undoubtedly. In addition, there is no occurrence of any incorrect agreement found in the professional writing text data, thus resulting in frequency and percentage of 0. Overall, these findings indicate consistent use of standard subject-verb agreement rules across all analyzed clauses. Furthermore, the most used voice, which is the active voice with 87.5%, suggests that professional writing commonly uses the active voice to present information in a clear and straightforward manner, allowing readers such as stakeholders and investors to process actions and responsibilities of the company more efficiently. In contrast, the limited use of the passive voice in the text indicates that obscuring the agent or shifting focus away from the subject is not a primary communicative goal in text. According to Van Hout, passive voice are generally employed when the writer's goal is to emphasize the action or result rather than the actor, or when the agent is unknown or considered less important.
Imagine you're on the brink of making a significant investment decision. Will you trust a company future based on the nuance of a single word test? Picture yourself as an investor, anxiously reading through the company earnings call in their report. Each word is carefully chosen by the company professional writers, and you quickly sense a sense of trust building. Have you ever wondered why company reports instantly sound trustworthy and persuasive? According to McDonald's April and May 2020 comparable sales and COVID-19 impact report, the company provides insight into the pandemic impacts on its operation. Selected for its relevance during a period of global crisis, this report illustrates how a major player in the fast food industry adapts its strategies during unprecedented time. The report we choose to analyze reveals the company's frequent use of the present tense in the statements, such as in the line, the company expects to invest about $200 million through an incremental marketing contribution across US and international operated markets to accelerate recovery and drive growth, reflecting how the company used the present tense to appear factual, stable, and reliable. This approach builds investor confidence by giving the impression that the information is solid and up-to-date. Even when discussing former achievement, the present tense keeps things transparent and uncomplicated, while the future tense pops up in just 12.5% of the sentences. According to the research by Carapanza 2016, companies that use the future tense less frequently in their annual report tend to achieve higher abnormal returns, suggesting they are cautious about future predictions and choose their language carefully when stating intentions. When reading the report, we also notice the 50% aspect in phrases and sentences, such as in the statement, the company is providing additional target support, which shows ongoing actions and keep readers connected to what's happening to the company. The perfect aspect appears 33.3% in the report as seen in the phrases. In addition, as previously announced on May 13, 2020, the company has committed to further investment in the system through additional financial support to accelerate franchise recovery in 3 key areas, tying past actions to today's result or upcoming objective of the company. And the simple aspects, it's the least common with 16.7% frequency and one instant appearing in statements like the amount represents 1 month of advertising cooperative contributions, reminding us that in business, procedure often matters more than stating the facts. Worried about grammar mistakes in professional text? Don't be, because every sentence in the professional text we chosen has nailed subject-verb agreement with 100% accuracy for maximum clarity. To highlight this achievement, consider an example from another report where a sentence stumbles into error. The company have decided to alter its marketing strategy, which fails in subject-verb agreement and can create confusion. In contrast, McDonald's Precision promotes clear communication and reliability. Most sentences use the active voice almost 7 out of 8, such as the company is providing support for a certain restaurant facing unique circumstances, making it crystal clear what the company of McDonald's is actually doing. Assertive passive voice, on the other hand, is rare and used only once in the report when the action itself takes center stage. For example, this marketing contribution will be recorded in the second quarter of 2020. Therefore, next time you read a company report, remember it is more than just the numbers and facts. Smart grammar shifts the message building trust that give investor reason to believe.
Table 3.1 and Figure 4.1 present the distribution of tense forms identified in the dataset. As shown in the table, the past tense is the most frequently used form with 5 occurrences, accounting for 71.4% of the total data. In comparison, the present tense appears 2 times, representing 28.6% of the data set. Overall, these findings show that past tense forms are used more often than present tense forms in the news report. It is important to note that this distribution is based on a total of 7 tense tokens, which together make up 100% of the observed data.
As you can see here, this slide shows the distribution of tense used in the dataset. Past tense occurs most frequently, appearing in 5 out of 7 sentences, which accounts for 71.4% of the total data. In contrast, the present tense appears twice, representing 28.6% of the data. This shows that most clauses are used to report events and actions that were complete before the time of writing. In news reports, past tense is commonly used to describe events that have already happened. According to Angel Bradson 2007, use of past tense can also reflect the journalist's interpretation and framing of past events. It is a common strategy in news writing to enhance credibility and coherence.
Table 3.2, Table 3.3, and Figure 4.2 illustrate the distribution of aspect types in the analyzed sample sentences. As shown in the tables, the simple aspect is the most frequently occurring type, with 6 instances, representing 75% of the total data. In comparison, both the progressive aspect and the perfect aspect occur once each, with each accounting for 12.5% of the data set. Altogether, a total of 8 instances were identified, accounting for 100% of the data. Overall, these findings demonstrate the relative distribution of aspectual forms as reflected through verb phrase structures and the use of auxiliary verbs in the data set.
Okay, moving on to aspect, the table showed that the simple aspect is used most frequently. It appears in 6 out of 8 sentences, representing 75% of the total data. In contrast, the progressive aspect and the perfect aspect each occur once, contributing 12.5% for the data. This suggests that actions and states are presented in a clear and straightforward way, without focusing on duration or ongoing actions. In English grammar, the simple aspect is used to describe action or states that are seen as complete. It is commonly used in news writing to present facts and events clearly and objectively. In contrast, the progressive and perfect aspect are typically used only when the writers want to emphasize particular time-related meanings.
Moving on, Table 3.4 shows the distribution of subject-verb agreement patterns in the analyzed data. As shown in the table, all examples demonstrate correct subject-verb agreement. In total, there are 6 occurrences which account for 100% of the data. Notably, no incorrect agreement was found, resulting in a frequency and percentage of 0%. Overall, these results indicate that all analyzed clauses follow the standard rules of subject-verb agreement. In addition, Table 3.4 and Figure 4.3 show that all clauses demonstrate correct subject-verb agreement, indicating a high and consistent level of grammatical accuracy in the data set. Subject-verb agreement is an important aspect of English grammar and plays a key role in forming well-structured sentences.
Next, Table 3.4 shows the distribution of subject-verb agreement in the dataset. All examples show correct subject-verb agreement with 6 occurrences making up 100% of the data. The absence of agreement errors suggests that this grammatical feature is stable in the text. Because of this, differences in meaning and discourse are mainly expressed through other grammatical choices such as tense or sentence structure rather than subject-verb agreement.
Lastly, in terms of voice, active voice is used slightly more often, 5 out of 9 sentences, accounting for 55.6% of the data. This frequent use of active voice shows a preference for clarity and direct reporting. In news report, active voice helps readers easily understand what happened and who was involved. According to Rizka and Hidayati 2015, active voice is used to show that the subject performs an action, makes the information easier to follow.
Lastly, Table 3.5 presents the distribution of voice forms identified in the dataset. As shown in the table, the active voice occurs slightly more frequently with 5 instances, accounting for 55.6% of the total occurrences. In contrast, the passive voice appears 4 times, representing 44.4% of the data. Overall, distribution is based on a total of 9 instances, which together constitute 100% of the analyzed sample. These results highlight the frequency of active and passive constructions as reflected through clause, structure, and verb forms in the dataset.
Our news tag is reported by Mio Ridwan Mio Ahmad on November 27, 2025 with the title Boy Feared Drown After Falling into the Drain During Heavy Rain, published by New Straits Times. We searched this public report on 27 November 2025. The intended audience is the general public. The aim of this news report is to inform readers about an urgent incident involving a child who was swept away by flood. We selected these news reports because it contains productive word formation. This report also includes different verb forms such as present simple, present continuous, and active voice. This helps demonstrate how news writing presents ongoing emergency incidents, confirm facts, and giving clear examples for analyzing clause types.
When comparing the use of verb across an academic article, professional report, and news report, several similarities and differences can be observed. In terms of subject-verb, all 3 text types shows mostly correct agreement, indicating a shared value of grammatical accuracy and clarity in written communication. Despite the similarity, each of the verb form indicates difference.
In terms of tense, the academic article uses mostly the present tense to convey facts. They are generally accurate as the main idea. Academic article also use past tense to support the idea by stating information from previous research. Professional report primarily uses the present tense to convey ongoing action and company policies for stakeholder. Meanwhile, the news report frequently emphasizes mostly past tense to state the idea of the event that had already occurred. This is followed by the present tense as the second most used tense to highlight the ongoing action.
In addition, the usage of aspect, all 3 texts rely mostly on the simple and progressive aspect. Academic article and news report have the similarity applying the simple aspect in their content. Simple aspect is used to convey clear and direct information. Meanwhile, professional texts mostly rely on progressive aspects. Progressive aspects were used to show continuity of action and focus on the process of the company.
Last but not least, regarding the voice, academic article, professional text, and news report have the similarity in terms of the usage of active voice. Active voice is commonly used to present information clearly and directly by showing who performs the action. Now let's move on to reflection. The choice of tense in the text that use present simple to indicate facts that are true and precise show a strong emphasis on accuracy and objectivity. The usage of present tenses also convey professionalism and authority to highlight the final decision. Moreover, the use of past tense is simple mainly to retell events that already happened before the reporting is done, while emphasizing the immediacy in context.
In addition, the choice of aspect reflects the value of clarity of communication. The uses of simple aspect show clear and direct information to minimize the misinformation to readers. Meanwhile, progressive aspect emphasize on process and ongoing action rather than complete action to give continuous updates to viewer regarding activity.
Overall, the tense and the aspect choices suggest that the text highlights accuracy, objectivity, and immediacy to ensure message is delivered efficiently. Instead of focusing on creative design, the writer used various grammatical aspects such as tenses, aspect, voice, and agreement correctly to enhance the idea.
In summary, usage of morphology and syntax elements in each text material are varied depending on its context, as well as its purpose for the intended audience. For a morphological standpoint, present tense is the most commonly found in academic texts and professional texts. For the news article, past tense is the most frequent tense used since news articles focuses on retelling an action that is already finished, while the other two highlight the action that is happening right at the moment. In a synthetical point of view, academic text and news article uses the simple tense more to deliver a direct message to its audience in comparison to professional text applies progressive aspects more often since they are clarifying an action that is still ongoing when they are making their report. To add on, passive voices is the highest dictator across all three texts to ensure clarity and directness are highlighted for the viewers to avoid misinformation spread. The agreement is certified on all materials, which highlights that all clauses used by the authors follow a grammatical rules properly. Thus, chosen texts are valid to be used in research purposes. Material also employs distinguishable values in order to prioritize application of the main goal, like academic text values accuracy, professionalism, by a core professional text, and lastly, news article rank immediacy as the most important out of all. Analyzing morphology and syntax utilization can be beneficial for readers as they honor critical thinking skills by identifying the differences of usage as they go through the reading material every time. Hence, increasing the vocabulary can be beneficial when application is properly done in contexts like assignments, examination, and workplace report, differentiating them from other candidates since they are able to apply the concepts in their work and question them properly. That concludes BIK21030 Morphology, Syntax and News. Follow our journey on our understanding the English language for the real time on Fairpage. Reporting live, Assalamualaikum and thank you for watching.